video will help you take a lead to a client, and actually the client is already created, but creating the invoice and then sending the contract. Once you have your event set up and you have scheduled it, you can go in and edit any information that you would like to edit, the name of the event, or anything else that pertains to the event. Then you can just make sure that you always update the event. At this time, you can add locations to the event. You can choose from the client's address, or you can select from any of the locations that you had added previously. You can edit your master locations under templates, locations, and then that will populate into the contract template if you have the locations variable in your contract template. Timelines would be for weddings that would probably be added a month or two before the wedding. Does not need to be done at the time of creating the event and sending the invoice. You can currently add any workflow. You would associate your workflow of which workflow you would want to associate with, and you can start it at which phase you would like to send it at. Products will be populated once your invoice and your package is selected. Now creating your invoice. You would create new invoice. You can auto-populate it from a package. I'll just pick a package so you can see how it's going to populate. Then that's where you can create your auto payments. These are your payment terms that you have selected under Finances, Invoice, and then Terms. I require a 50% deposit and then 50% upon the week of the invoice, issue date, and then the due date. Your due date, the due date is going to default to the day of the event. If you need it a week before or etc., you can change it. I'm going to leave it just as that. Invoice ID, you can name it. I usually name it the client's last name and what the session is. Excuse me. And then if you use purchase orders, you can do purchase orders. You can add, in this particular session, I don't charge sales tax because there's no product. But if you would add your sales tax here, or you can select it from the drop down. Subject, portrait session, or wedding coverage, whichever. And then any notes that you would like to display on the invoice, those will be populated to the client. And then any reminder templates that you would like to send out, you would be able to add that now. I will also show you where those are created. Then you will select Create Invoice. Whoops, put tax in. Select Create Invoice. Yes, you would like to go edit it now. Now here is the invoice to the client. As you can see, everything that is in my package has auto-populated right here. There's, I'm showing tax, but I didn't add any tax, and everything that was included in my template. Your payments. This is where your payments will show. You can see the 50% deposit is due the day after the invoice, and then the other one is due the week before the session. If you need to change your payment dates, you would just click on the payment. It is obviously unpaid. You can change your payment date here on when you would want it to be paid, and then click update. So once that's all said and done, there's the invoice reminders. Whoops, that one needs to go away. There's the invoice reminder that will go out for the payment, and then back to the event. This is where you will send your contract. You will create new contract, portrait, test contract. You can then edit anything within the contract, add payment terms, add any more client information, or anything that you would like to do. Save contract, click OK. Add recipients. This is going to be any recipient. You can add as many people as you would like to the contract. Keep in mind the contract will not be accepted until all of the recipients have signed. If you don't want them to sign it, then don't send it to them. But that is where you will save, or that is where you will add any recipients. You can add a recipient to the contract without them being in the client contact fields. Say, mother of the groom wants to be on the contract, etc. That's where you can add the recipients to the contract. Then you are going to add a payment. You're going to auto-populate. Since you added payments to the invoice, they will show up right here. If you would like them to pay by check, you will slide this over to yes. Slide that over to yes. That will not redirect them to any merchant that you have associated with your Pixifi account. If you want them to pay via merchant, whether you have Authorize.net, PayPal, whoever, then just select no, and it will stay, it will send them to the merchant. So if you wanted them to pay by check, slide it to yes. Click Save. Now you will send the contract. Select your contract common response. So we'll just say portrait session common response. This is everything that will go out. Make sure that everything is in there that you need to be in there. You can also add anything to this common response, take anything out, make it a little more personalized. This highlighted area right here is what has to be in your common response when you send it to a client. That will not, you will not see it when your common response comes up. The only thing that you will see is your contract link. The login and the password will auto-populate once it is sent to the client. Add your email signature. Yes, you agree to the terms, and then you will click Send Contract. Click OK, and then your contract is sent to your client. Hopefully that helps you in sending your contract to a client along with your invoice.